Welcome to another poetry deep dive today. I love Denis Martindale. He has written over 3,700 poems for the Poem Hunter website. Denis Martindale has written a new modern-day life experience poem, and the title is The Purchased Parcel Puzzle. Here is what the brand new poem's message shares with us today.
So let's just dive right into this, shall we? You know, Denis is incredibly prolific. Over 3,700 poems to his name is no small feat. But out of all those thousands of works spanning countless topics, this specific poem manages to perfectly capture a hilarious, exhausting, and just completely universal modern frustration. Because let's be real, we've all been there, right? Staring down a heavily taped delivery box, wondering how on earth we're going to actually get inside. It's a shared struggle of the modern era, and Martindale turns this mundane, everyday chore into an absolute epic.
Section The Unpacking Marathon begins.
Okay, picture this. It's a sweltering, hot July day. The highly anticipated box has finally arrived, and what starts as just a simple delivery quickly morphs into this crazy battle of attrition. Our poet starts off really carefully. He even listens closely to the box, just checking for any sign of broken glass before making his very first move. Hearing none, he breaks down the initial, seemingly standard tactical steps to breach this cardboard fortress. Step 1. Retrieving the trusty scissors from the kitchen drawer, or as you do, as he notes in the poem. Then, he cuts the sticky tape at the top and begins peeling away those long, super intimidating lengths of tape bearing the word fragile. It all seems so methodical at first, right?
But wow, does that initial strategy fall apart fast. The 4 tightly packed picture frames nestled inside are completely trapped. The hero of our story is totally thwarted here. He pulls back the top's little links of cardboard. He can see his prize, those 4 frames, but they stubbornly refuse to budge even an inch. The packing is so incredibly dense, so uncompromising, that he's forced to escalate his tactics. He literally starts frantically tearing away at the very sides of the cardboard box just to get some leverage. And this brilliantly illustrates the sheer physical absurdity of the whole ordeal. He laments, "I don't need to exercise in a gym with this thing." By this point, our poet is practically wrestling the box. He's turning it completely upside down to attack the tape from new angles. He's battling torn bits of cardboard that have cascaded onto the floor, and get this, they've even started sticking to his shoes. He has to pause just to peel the sticky tape off his own footwear. It is literally a full-body workout just to open something you bought. You really see the pacing of his frustration accelerate here. He finally manages to cast the outer box aside, breathing heavily, only to realize the battle is far from over. He is immediately faced with the dreaded, never-ending bubble wrap and sticky tape stage. He's turning the frames upside down, cutting sticky tape here, cutting it there, just desperately trying to separate the individual items. His breathless, almost manic frustration is perfectly captured in his thought. Here a bit, there a bit, everywhere a bit. It's just this relentless, sticky maze. Section The Broken Frame Reveal.
So the poet experiences this massive, sweet wave of relief as he frees the first item. It's perfectly intact, no broken glass at all. He moves to frame number 2. Wonderful. Frame number 3. Nice. The victory feels so close. But then, we contrast that with the silent heartbreak of the 4th frame's shattered reality. He finally gets to it only to find broken glass. It hadn't completely broken loose inside the frame, which is exactly why he didn't hear it rattling around at the very beginning, but the damage was utterly done.
And honestly, the cruelest part of this entire battle is that there was absolutely no way to tell before the unpacking marathon began. All that sweat, all that exhaustive effort, the gym-level workout wrestling with cardboard and tape, it was all spent completely blindly. There was zero warning that the damage was already hiding deep within the fortress he was fighting so hard to open. Defeated, our poet enters the tedious clearing of the decks phase, as he calls it. He has to painstakingly sort all the trash. The sticky stuff has to go in one dustbin, while the other stuff goes in another. And then comes the tricky, frankly really dangerous part, the extraction of the broken glass from the ruined picture frame. Move that part, then take out this part, he writes, perfectly capturing the delicate, deeply annoying surgery required to clean up a mess he didn't even make in the first place.
Section The Ultimate Packaging Irony. Just to give you a sense of the sheer volume of the mess created here, 50. After dealing with the glass and the frames, the poet realizes he still has to deal with the mangled remains of the box itself. He writes about tearing off strips of little bitty bits here, there, and everywhere, until he has about 50 little pieces of cardboard strewn all across his floor. He has to literally gather them all up to his chest just to carry them over to his almost full dustbin.
And here is where we quantify the true agonizing cost of the purchased parcel puzzle. 1.5. This entire ordeal cost him 1.5 hours of his life on a hot July day, time he definitively declares he is never going to see again. By the time those 50 bits of cardboard are finally in the bin, he is utterly exhausted and announces that once he's done venting about this, he is going straight to bed.
Which brings us to the very existence of the text we're analyzing today. Why did he write it? Well, the poet was so deeply peeved, so thoroughly drained by this ridiculous modern ordeal that he had to immediately write this poem. He just needed to unload his frustration, to get it off his chest, and to share it with the world. It's literal art born from the sheer aggravation of sticky tape.
But this builds to the most brilliant irony hidden at the very end of the poem. On one side, we have Denis Martindale today, utterly exhausted, sweeping up 50 bits of cardboard, defeated by a standard delivery box. But on the other side, we have Denis Martindale's past. As he reveals in the poem, he himself actually used to be a professional packer for a few years. Even a former industry professional, someone who literally knows the ins and outs of securing items for transit, was completely bested by this modern monstrosity of tape and bubble wrap.
He delivers this final, exasperated lament. But it was never like this. No, not never. How times have changed. They really have. Coming from a former packer, this highlights the stark, crazy difference between the reasonable, sensible packing of the past and the impenetrable fortresses we receive on our doorsteps today. The industry he once knew has mutated into something entirely unrecognizable. Which leaves us with this final, really provocative thought. Has modern convenience actually become our greatest inconvenience? We order things with a simple click, expecting ease and joy, only to face a literal hour-and-a-half marathon of unpacking, sorting, and sometimes sweeping up broken glass. I challenge you to reflect on your own battles with excessive packaging. The next time a box arrives heavily armored in tape on your doorstep, you might just find yourself wondering, is the thrill of online delivery truly worth the purchased parcel puzzle? Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and hey, good luck with your next delivery.